It's my honor to introduce a true powerhouse, Director LaToya Foster, from the Office of Cable Television, Film, Music, and Entertainment, OCTFME. Please give a warm welcome to Director LaToya Foster.
Welcome to our conversations with women in media, entertainment, and technology. I'm LaToya Foster, and I could not be more excited about the conversations we're going to be having with some dynamic powerhouse women right here in our nation's capital. Starting with our very guest sitting here with me today, Donita Johnson, the President of Business Operations for DC United.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And Kelly Flanagan, President of Live Nation DC.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. Okay, so people will see this after Women's History Month, but this is Women's History Month. So it's important for us to celebrate the women here in Washington, D.C., leading the charge. We have a woman at the helm here in our city, Mayor Muriel Bowser. And, you know, she always says when women are at the helm, things get done. And I think we can all agree on that. We can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Donita, I'm going to start with you. Your journey to becoming Madam President. The journey there to the corner office overlooking the field. How'd you get there?
Yeah, I think, for me, it's been a journey focused and centered around the evolution of sport. And my background, which has been a beautiful piece as we talk about Women's History Month, right. My background was primarily in women's basketball. Mm-hmm. So I spent over 10 years in the WNBA. Prior to my job here with DC United, I served as the president and COO for the LA Sparks. Okay. And so my journey through sport has been powered by being inspired by women, great women.
Okay.
When I think about the women of the WNBA, the women that have influenced my career, my first boss happened to be one of the first female presidents ever named in the NBA G League. Those types of moments are really what help carve me and make me who I am as a woman today in this industry.
Absolutely. And Kelly, talk about your journey to the office with the view downtown. You got started as an intern.
Yes, I started almost 20 years ago with Live Nation here in the D.C. area and have been fortunate enough to be able to stay in the D.C. area but continue to rise in the ranks and experience and get to now lead a team of about 65% women. So it's an exciting journey for me. As you said, I started as an intern and have been inspired by many people, both men and women along the way, who have taught me, I've learned from, and continue to learn from to this day.
Absolutely. Now, you opened the downtown office of Live Nation during COVID. Am I not mistaken?
Well, it was actually right before COVID.
Right before COVID.
Yes.
Okay.
November of 19. We had a big office opening party, and then unfortunately 3 or 4 months later we were all out of the office, but we're back in now, so it's all that matters.
Well, now I'll tell you, that's music to the ears of our Mayor Muriel Bowser. Everyone's back in the office. Talk about the challenges that women are facing, or maybe lack thereof, in positions in entertainment. Donita, I know you're getting ready to speak to a conference. You're always out speaking to others. Talk about what you're hearing from other women and their road to success in the entertainment field.
I think one of the key things is that we need each other, right? We can't do this alone. We need our male allies, and we need each other in our own sisterhood as women. Because sometimes I think if we're not elevating one another and being the voice for each other in those rooms, we can get lost really quickly.
Yeah.
When I think about, the sports world specifically, we have kind of carved out our own sisterhood in this, and I think it kind of liaises into entertainment as well. I know Kelly was probably one of my first calls in my first 30 days.
Is that right?
Yes, she was knocking on my door in a great way in the very beginning about the opportunities. And I think what I love about DC in this is the sisterhood and so many women leading within this city.
Yeah.
And I think we have an opportunity to do things in a very different way. And I think we as women bring so much to the table. Our views are different of how we may approach things, but how we get that job done and how we execute, it's just magnificent.
Kelly, your thoughts on women climbing the ladder in entertainment, the challenges we face, the obstacles we encounter, and how we surpass them.
Well, I'd say the live music industry has done much better as I've been in the industry almost 20 years now, and it looks very different than it did before. I'd say that I'm proud with Live Nation is it's a very important part of the company. We have Live Nation Women, and it very much is, you said something, is to help lift each other up and to be that voice and cheering each other on, because it's good when people around you are speaking up for you, so that telling the story so that other people can hear it, because it's more about younger women being able to hear the story so that they can see it and see their path.
Absolutely. And, that's a good point. Mayor Bowser used to always say something about some 8-year-old girls that she would come in contact with while she was on the campaign trail. And I told her recently, I said, those 8-year-old girls are now graduating from high school. What are you all saying to those young girls who are looking at you right now and saying, I want to be Donita, I want to be Kelly? What do you say to them? What are the steps they should be taking? What should they be thinking? Should they be thinking about whatever they're going to major in college, or is it just the art of networking? What's your advice to them?
I think for our young women today is, one, be authentically yourself. First and foremost. Like, you have to be you when you show up in these rooms. And you can be yourself and be professional at the same time, and not saying you're not professional in yourself, but like, there's a balance, right? You don't want to get lost in this. So for me, when I talk to young women, it's like finding a sense of balance, I think, is really important. But then I think you also, like, to really make it in this, you got to be decisive. You got to understand business. You got to study. Right? Like, if you're not going to do the work, it's not going to move you forward. So if you need help in getting that work and getting access to that work, lean on the other women in the community. But there is work to be done. Yeah. It didn't happen overnight. We're talking about 20 plus years of a career leading into moments where I'm sitting here with you and having this conversation, where every day the job didn't feel perfect, where every day, I had to figure out how to navigate or say something differently to make sure I was heard, or to even think about, how do I do this better the next time? So there is work to be done, is what I do tell our young women, because I don't want them to see just the end result. And there's a pathway that comes along with this that has ups and downs. And how you get through those ups and downs really is part of how you get to the area of success.
Absolutely. And you have a team of women. You have a team
I
of
do.
women. Yeah.
We're very much, probably out of the Major League Soccer, probably the highest executive leadership team of women in Major League Soccer, and probably women as a whole from our whole entire organization. It was kind of by design, but you hire great people. So that's how we got there.
Women at the helm, things get done. Women at the helm, things get done. Let's talk about growth opportunities. We know that we're in some very interesting times across the country, here in our own great city. But we know that there is a diverse workforce in entertainment. Kelly, can we talk a little bit about that? Things are happening around us every day, but our arenas are still filling up, selling out. We're still able to entertain, and it's not just about the economics of it. It's a feel-good as well. Talk about why that's still a need, even in these very interesting times.
Well, I'd say for music specifically is it's something that brings people joy. So in a time of uncertainty, or if things are not going as well, the positive thing is that anyone who leaves the concert leaves with a smile on their face. So it's something that can bring some peace and some normalcy to someone who has a lot going on, as you said.
How about you, Donita?
I think, and I kind of talked about this, I was meeting with a young lady by Maya from The Informant prior to this, and I was talking about the importance of sports and entertainment and what it does to build community, and that's what this was originally centered around, right? Sports is typically centered around communities, and when you think about where our stadiums are located, even ours at Audi Field with DC United, we're in the heart of a community. And so when we think about the times in which we're going through, or when people are having rough moments and a lot of uncertainty, a lot of times it does become the escape, but we also have an opportunity to do great community work. So in the midst of everything that's happening, showing up through our community programs such as ours, we work with House of Ruth, and we go out with our Women United group, and we do mentoring with the women of House of Ruth. Some have actually come and worked for us full time.
Nice.
We go into the prisons and we work with the program called the Twinning Project. If anybody's familiar with it or not, look it up. It's absolutely phenomenal. And we teach soccer programming to currently incarcerated inmates, and we're actually now expanding that to female inmates as well. So our job in this is to be a good steward of community. in the
Absolutely.
midst of it, right? We play games, we do all the things, we bring entertainment, but at the end of the day, if we're not a good steward of the community to give balance and hope in the midst of change and uncertainty, we are not doing our job well. So that is how we continue to uplift and showcase ourselves in moments like this, with or without moments like this. But most importantly, in moments like this, is to be a good steward.
Absolutely. And let's just give everyone a sense of careers and opportunities in entertainment and sports. They're non-traditional jobs, but let's give people an idea of what those jobs can be. What do they look like? We always have marketing. What other opportunities are there for those who are seeking opportunities in entertainment or thinking about their next chapter?
Well, I'd say someone who can't sing and can't play an instrument, and I've been in the music industry for 20 years, it's possible.
You've done good. You've done good.
And it's one of the things I'd say when I speak to younger fans of music and high school students and even some college students is they don't realize the amount of jobs, whether it be the technical side of things,
Yeah.
being a music attorney, being publishing, management, sponsorship. That's a huge part of an artist's career, and how they make their money is the brands that they partner with. And so you don't have to have musical talents to be in the industry. There's
Right.
plenty of jobs, both on the technical side, on the production side, with being live side, the studio side of things. Is there's roles all throughout. You can find your path in many different ways.
No, I definitely would echo that. And I think what we have in front of you is the label, right? DC United, sports, soccer, basketball, that's the label. Behind it, we are a business.
Right.
Right? And so a business has all traditional functionalities. Our goal is to make sure we're driving revenue, building community, uplifting our athletes. So through all of those avenues, every single one of them has a business segment that sits under them to support them. You get the show and the lights at the end.
That's right.
But in the background, everything we're doing is structuring a business fully. So when it comes to career path, you can go to school and go get your MBA and study business and step right into something like this and then specialize, right? And so
okay.
you could do things like that from a career path standpoint. So there's a very unique opportunity. I think one thing that I do see across sports and entertainment as a whole right now is a lot of crossover. And what you're seeing is people that have come from non-traditional sports and entertainment paths actually moving into our industry, because what it's doing, it's giving depth to our work now by having outside expertise and voice in certain areas to help uplift our businesses in a new way, because we have to continue to evolve. We
Right.
have to continue to grow. And with that, we need new insight. And so there's really a lot of opportunity there. One area specifically, and I'll stop at this, but I think all young people, like this analytics business side, the
Okay.
business insights strategy right now. If I would do it again, if I wasn't doing this, if I started again, I would be going down that pathway.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because what it does is it helps a business function, but you're also doing the insights, the strategies, the numbers, and it becomes something that can cross over the entire business holistically. So I think that's something that, pay attention to what's happening in that space.
We have to talk about the evolution of technology and what that means for all of us. It's a new chapter. It's a new day. AI, that's all we hear everywhere we go. You got to learn AI. If you don't know AI, you better learn AI. Talk about how AI is entering into the sports and entertainment space and how you all are navigating through that.
I would say on more of a basic level is just finding new music. As you think about Spotify, you listen to an artist that you like on Spotify, and you're able to hear about other artists that are similar that you would have never thought to look up, listen to. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff in ticketing and some of the sponsorship and things like that. But I would say, just for me personally, on the local live sense, is being able to find new music with someone pushing new music to you.
Okay. Danita?
I think AI has entered the chat in a very unique and good way. I actually just was in LA as of yesterday, and I toured the Intuit Dome. I went to the Clipper game, and if you haven't looked at what they have done, go look at it, look it up. But I think what we're seeing in the intersection of AI and sports specifically, one, I think from an actual fan experience segment. How are we learning our fans? How are we integrating with our fans? And we get to know you all in a whole new light through AI and technology and different things, so that your experience, the same way you look at your Instagram and it looks and feels like it's curated just for you,
And it does.
Exactly.
Like they're
And
listening to us.
They know everything, right? The same way that you see that, I think, is where you're seeing AI and different technologies play into the sports and entertainment. That when you walk into our facilities now, we know things about you and what you like, and that, you know what, it's going to take you 15 minutes when you walk in. You're probably going to buy the chicken tenders because you have a propensity to buy those when you walk in, and we can tell, and we want to make sure those are served up, and we can predict in different ways. From a player standpoint, it's their physicality. How do we recruit players? Using the insights to really build our teams. That's what you're seeing across all sports. Those coaches on the sidelines with the iPads just aren't reading messages. It's a lot of insights and data that's coming to them that's really changing the game. And so I think technology, AI, all have the opportunity to uplift us. And I know it feels odd, it feels scary. Listen, I'm still part there too, but I do think there is some goodness to how we could probably figure out and how to operate more efficiently.
That is the insights. That's going to be the new word. I thought the word of the year was pivot. We've all got to pivot. But it sounds like insights is a new one as well.
Insights teach us how to pivot.
Oh, okay. Y'all heard that, right? Okay, now that's a word. That's a word. Let's talk about also Washington, D.C. We're the nation's capital. Now, I'm a native Washingtonian. I think we're pretty cool, right? We like to say we're the district of culture, creativity, and cool. But we also know that this is known as the city of the federal government, the White House, politics, and so forth. How do we let the world know how much D.C. is a vibe? It's a brand. It's, we may not be L.A., we may not be New York or Atlanta, but we're pretty cool here. We've got some cool things happening here. We're popping, right? I think we're popping. Crowd, do you all agree we're popping around here? How do we let the world know how cool Washington, D.C. is and attracting more of our entertainment-based businesses to Washington, D.C.?
Well, I have to say, I think D.C. is already there. We're a top 10 market, and artists have to stop in D.C. You don't do a national tour unless you're playing a D.C. show, whether it be, we always are, top 10 in gross sales and sold tickets, all of that. And so it's something that we are just excited to be able to have multiple venues in the market. With the arena closed this summer, it's a little bit sad, but once it's got its facelift, it'll be one of the best venues in the entire country.
Right.
But we're able to work outside and go to the football stadium, the baseball stadium. DC is cool in the sense that if you see a tour, there aren't many times DC is not on that routing.
That's right. That's right. Danita?
I agree. I think it's important to be authentically us in D.C. We don't have to be L.A. We don't have to be New York. We
That's
can
right.
be D.C. And I think true to, I always say, I came here and I was like, it was sports, politics, entertainment, and a whole new realm for me when I came to D.C., right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think understanding that gives us an opportunity. When I look at what we do at Audi Field with D.C. United, we host congressional soccer. Right? We hosted the MLS All-Star Game in 2023. We're hosting
was
club,
huge.
right? That was
Coming out of COVID, that was huge.
I didn't sleep much, but we made it. This year, hosting Club World Cup in June at Audi Field, we are at the crust of bringing so much in from an international standpoint. We understand the power of the nation's capital. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we leverage opportunities to bring international events here and showcase our city in the best light possible. And so I think for us, because soccer is the world's global game, it's the biggest
right.
sport in the world, hands down, we have an opportunity to liaise Audi Field and DC United to do that. And as we look at the continued growth of our stadium and what we continue to add value to DC, we see even more possibility. And I love the vision of our ownership about the future of our stadium. And we hope for eventual and continued growth to have even more events and more shows within our venue.
Fantastic. Lastly, Danita, you're talking to 20-year-old Danita. Mm-hmm. What do you say to her, knowing what you know now?
I always tell her not to worry as much.
Okay.
I always tell her not to worry as much and sleep more.
Now, you never look worried, and you always look amazing.
I learned that later. 20-year-old me, she needed to calm down.
Okay.
But no, other than that, I honestly, the other thing I always told myself, and if I was telling my 20-year-old self, is literally just keep your faith. Mm-hmm. Like, keep your faith in what you do. This will all come together. Be yourself. and I can be me in this, and I'm never going to not be myself. And so to my 20-year-old self, just having the confidence in being me.
I love it. Kelly, you're talking to 20-year-old Kelly. You're walking into the office of Live Nation. You're accepting that internship, everything that you know now. What would you say to her?
Probably read more at the beginning.
Okay.
And it was something I said yes to everything and learned and would be willing to do whatever it was that was presented to me. But I would say I wish I would have read a little bit more just on to teach myself, educate myself more on the history and just how the industry had gotten to the place that it was then, just to have a better understanding of it. And I'd say, yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to turn to our audience to see if we have any audience questions. Oh, I see we have Michelle and Andrea, two powerhouses in entertainment themselves.
This has been an amazing panel, so a good day to everyone. My question is for you, Kelly. So we all see Live Nation everywhere, the logo. But can you take us behind that logo and really talk to us a little bit more about what is Live Nation? What do you do, and some of the things that our audience here and on television may be familiar with?
Well, just looking at my office, we have a majority, I would say, probably 75% of my team are born and raised in the DC metro area. So everyone thinks of Live Nation as this big company, and yes, we are a big international company, but we are very local when it comes to the markets. We have markets all around the country, and we have, there's probably 3 or 4 of our team that went to Maryland. We have some folks that went to JMU. We have some folks that went to UVA. And people have grown up in the music scene around here, going and seeing shows. Those are the people behind Live Nation today here in the DC market, which a lot of people don't necessarily understand and get. But what we do is we put on concerts, and whether that be at a 200-person club or a 40,000 cap stadium, we work with the artist, and then we work with the venues to facilitate bringing that artist to the people of DC and metro area.
Nice. Andrea?
First, I wanted to start by saying thank you so much. This is so interesting and so much knowledge and information for women trying to grow in this business. And in saying that, you talk about the younger women, but just women in general that are trying to grow in either field that are so male-dominated. Because I find myself, and I don't know about the other women in the room, kind of having that imposter kind of phenomenon when you're in larger rooms with larger people and trying to fit in and be the true self, like you continue to say. What would you say to all of us, younger and older, who are trying to navigate that and feel like they belong in rooms they are trying to grow and evolve in, but may not necessarily be there yet?
I think President Obama said this best. I don't know if y'all have seen this reel on Instagram.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
And he talked about sometimes you sit in that room and you realize they're not as smart as you thought they were.
That's it.
And it's not to downplay the room, because there's also greatness in that room that helps to elevate you. So I think there's a combination of two that brings ease to the imposter syndrome. And I think in that ease comes your preparation. And I always tell my team this too. I'm like, you don't have to win in every single room you walk in, right? There's going to be moments where, you know what, that idea you had doesn't work that time, but it doesn't mean you stop. It doesn't mean you stop talking. And I think a lot of times what happens is people feel like they had this amazing concept and they brought it to the table and they didn't feel heard. But maybe it just wasn't the time for that concept in that moment. Right? So how do you then come back from that? How do you bring something new and fresh? Because if I would have stopped at the one concept that didn't get passed over 10 years ago, I wouldn't be where I am. So I think the confidence comes in your ability to keep trying, right? Yeah. You have to keep trying, because if we give up where we just didn't feel heard that one time, but you also keep trying, but then you're also smart enough to know when you need to walk out the room. Because some rooms just aren't met. And you find a room where you either build one together or you find a room that helps to accept and uplift you. So I think there's a nuance to it all. And sometimes that comes back to knowing self, having good people in your corner, having good dialogue, because sometimes your friends can talk you out of things in a way that you need to stay
Quickly.
in. And you have to be thoughtful. They'll take you on a journey that you weren't set to go on. So I think that's where it's important for you to remember who you are in that. But that's kind of where I get through that imposter syndrome. Know there's balance. And some days you're going to feel like you owned it, and some days you're going to be like, ooh, that wasn't the best room. And so just know that, and I think it helps to build the confidence.
I would go back to confidence as well. And you said it best is preparation, because to have confidence, you got to be prepared because you don't want to sound like an idiot. And then also to the same point is if someone's not accepting it, you can't keep pushing it. You got to walk away and kind of regroup and then maybe bring it to someone else, because it's one person that is listening to you and maybe they aren't on the same path, but doesn't mean that it is a bad idea. It just is not meant for that room of people to hear.
Ladies, thank you all. You all have no idea how much this means to all of us here in this room, to so many who are going to get to see this program, for people to know what is possible. You are our living examples of what's possible, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.